bro. What's good with it, y'all? It's your boy Santo G, back at it. You already know, spreading unity, prosperity, and respect. Above all, if you're new here, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell. It don't cost you nothing, and it will help out this channel. So today, I wanted to continue with the prison story. I wanted to continue where I left off yesterday. So, as I told you guys in the story yesterday, when Squad ran in the cell, took the cell phone, me taking the rap for the homie, so on and so forth. So, pretty much we're there. I gave you guys a little glimpse saying that both of my cellies had got into it. As I said, I walked up to them having a conversation. Homeboy was trying to tell my other celly to pretty much take the rap for it. He didn't want to because he had a few months left. I ended up taking the rap for it. So a few days go by. I want to say probably like a week goes by. The homie that had a few months left, he ends up moving from the cell. He ends up moving to a cell downstairs. We were upstairs on the second floor. That's why I said that the COs and the squad ran up the stairs. So he moved downstairs. He was actually in a cell with the homie B. Shout out the homie B from Reseda. If you guys could see his comment that I pinned on the last video, he pretty much just said, hey, my boy T was a menace. That's a little hint right there of who I may be talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, boom. The homie ends up getting the cell raided. They end up finding the phone. Homeboy ended up getting scared straight. Straight up. He ended up getting scared straight. He started seeing that Squad was on us. That cell was hot. So he was like, man, I'm going to start looking for somewhere else to go. And that's facts. He moved downstairs to the homie B's cell. So I knew that the homie was moving. Me personally, I knew. He told me. He just didn't know how to tell the other homie. Because like I said, he was there in the cell with him for a cool minute. And homeboy was pretty much taking care of him. The TV he had, the clothes he had, shoes, the food he had in his locker pretty much came from our other celly and him looking out for him. I mean, he would do stuff for him too since he was yard crew. Hey, take this over there, take this over here. Hey, hold this. You know what I mean? That's all I'm going to say. If y'all could read between the lines, y'all could read between the lines. So it wasn't like he didn't earn it. So, boom. He don't know how to tell our celly. He moves. Our celly ends up coming back. As a matter of fact, he was yard crew himself. He ended up getting like a yard crew job. But just our celly was like earlier, or I think he ended up getting a yard crew and our celly ended up going to school. Yeah, that's what ended up happening. He was already a few months to the pad. So they ended up giving him one of those like where they teach you how to fill out a resume, how to open a bank account. There's a certain word for it, but it can't come to my head. It's a certain word for that training course, and that they do it whenever you're a few months, when you're like 6 months to the pad or like a year. I seen they started doing it, like expanding the reach of who they let into that class. So he wasn't yard crew no more. He was going to that class. The other homie was yard crew. So when he came home from school, he moved. Homeboy was out there at yard. He comes back. He sees everything's gone. Homeboy's bunk is empty. He's looking like, what the fuck? Like, what happened? I'm like, hey, homeboy moved downstairs. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, homeboy moved downstairs. So he goes over there. He's talking to him, right? And then he comes back with an antenna. He comes back with an antenna, and they were arguing over the TV as well, but I know it was mainly over the antenna. So he comes back, homeboy comes back like behind them. They're right there arguing, they're getting into it. Out of nowhere, the homie just goes, boop, 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 boop. I ain't even gonna lie. Our other celly that had just moved out, he didn't even swing back. He just took it, boop, 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 boop. And homeboy was a little stocky. He was a bully. That's why I said, like, a lot of people, like, he was intimidating. Like, nobody liked messing with him. He was one of them Debo type people, like, hey, tuck your chain in. And if he was doing something, clowning on someone or anything like that, 9 times out of 10, you know, people were scared to tell him something. Now, boom, that happens. Boop, boop. He gets, he just takes it. He takes it like, what? Oh, walks out the cell. He ends up going to the yard the next day. They end up getting in his head, whoever he spoke with at yard. Because homeboy, not only was he intimidating, but he was also one of them people that if you wanted to put your hands on him, if anybody wanted to move on him, they had to get the okay first. It wasn't somebody that they just gonna put their hands on and it's gonna be cool. So he goes out there, he comes back, and he's like, hey, look, I ended up talking to so-and-so, and they told me if I want to, I could do my thug dizzle. Like, it's a personal thing, woo-woo-wah. I'm just looking at him like, hey, I don't know, my boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up. You want to get him up with him, get him up with him. But as far as anything else, like, I don't know. I go in the cell. I'm inside the cell. I putting the phone to charge. We ended up getting another one. So I'm going to the cell. Homeboy hands me the phone like, hey, here. We had just got it. We only had it like a few days. So, boom, he hands it to me. He's like, here, hey, put it on the charger. So I go, I put it on the charger. He walks out, goes to go get water. He had his water jug in his hand, you know what I mean? He's like, I'm gonna go get water, throw this on the charger. Put it on the charger. Out of nowhere, I just hear the alarm. Run, I go and I look. By the time I go and I look over the railing and see what's going on, I just see the celly that I was still with, not the one that moved out. I just see him on top of the one that moved out. He's just on top of him. Boom, 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 boom. They come, spray or hit him, whatever they do. Boom. They take both of them. Come to find out, homeboy actually really did ended up blasting him. Whoever he spoke with on the yard told him like, hey, look, he put his hands on you. You guys were cellies, you moved out. You have your own reasoning why you moved out. You're trying to make it home. It's a little hot, so on and so forth. And him putting his hands on you the way he did, without you calling him out his name or anything like that, like he's in the wrong. So if you want to take it to that extent, you can. That's solely based on you and how you feel. Homeboy ended up going back. I guess he felt some type of way because he had like, his face was a little swollen. You know what I mean? I ain't even gonna lie. Like his face was swollen from the little boop, boop, bow. It was just like a little 2-piece or 3-piece, but his face was swollen. So it kind of hurt his ego. And for him to redeem himself, when homeboy went and was filling up the water, homeboy came from behind him and but he didn't do it with enough force, or I don't know what, because homeboy just took it, was like, what? Boom, 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 bow, 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 bow. He didn't even notice that he had got hit. He ended up patching himself up. They went to the hole and they seen Marcelli, the one that ended up getting blasted, right? They seen him on top of the other one. So what they thought is homeboy flighted the other fool, so they ended up getting the homie for an assault on my other celly. When in reality, it was the other way around. Homeboy was just defending himself. But hey, you can't say nothing. It's the way, whatever the hood I saw, however they write it up, it's not like if you could give a statement. So they just wrote it out. Homeboy ended up getting sent back. The celly that moved out, he ended up getting sent back. Same cell, same bunk where he had moved. My celly that ended up getting taken off on, he ended up going to a whole nother yard. And then that's where I say when he left to that whole other yard, he was still trying to call and pretty much collect the money for the other phone. The one that he had got took in, so on and so forth. So all I ended up doing is cashing him out because the phone that I had just put to charge, it ended up staying there. So I just ended up cashing him out for that one. Like on that one, send him his money. That's me. On the last one, hey, that's already, it's old. I took the rap for you. You lost it. So on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? But after I sent them, to be honest, for the one that I kept, and this is, hey, if I'm lying, I'm dying. You know what I'm saying? I sent them at least $1,000, at least 1K, and he still was wanting more for the phone that I took the rap for. Like, come on, bro. Not only that, like, aside from that, as soon as he got over there, you know what I'm saying, he left with one. That's how we was able to get a hold of each other quicker. So it's like, my boy, like, come on, like, why you trying to get over on somebody that held you down? Somebody that took time for you. I guarantee you ask anybody from your own barrio right now to take 90 days for you, they ain't gonna do it. To be honest, if I know what I know now, I wouldn't do it. If I could go back, I wouldn't do it, man. That's 90 days that I could have been out with my family. You know what I'm saying? My grandpa passed away a few months before I came home. If I would have came home when I was supposed to, I would have been able to see my grandfather. I would have been able to hug him one last time. I would have been able to tell him that I love him. You know what I'm saying? That I made it home. Because he passed away not knowing what's up with me. And I ain't even gonna lie. Me and him were like this. Like, I would wake up, go to his house, cook him his food, go do his runs, so on and so forth. Like, that was my daily routine. Wake up, go see what's up with my grandfather, cook for him. He needed any store runs, go do his store runs. Then I used to go run amok at the park. The park was only a few houses down. You know what I'm saying? But back to that story. So that ends up happening. He goes to another yard. Homeboy ends up coming back. And he ends up going home. Like, the whole time, they're like kind of trying to figure out what's going on. But it ended up being it's a personal matter. You ended up punching him out. He took it upon himself. He went and did what he did. Nothing ended up happening to him or to him. It was just you guys shouldn't even be doing that to begin with. That's why homeboy patched himself up. He didn't want to even make it an issue. And they just did it like that. So homeboy ends up going home. He goes home. I'm chilling. I'm in my cell one day. Next thing you know, news comes on. It says Bakersfield. Man on meth, power pole standoff. Just looking like, what the fuck? And then I see the picture they show. And I look, I'm like, what the fuck? That looks like my old Sally. He still had on the same shorts. He still had on the same shoes. The only difference is he had a hoodie. Because I seen him when he paroled. I seen what he was wearing. Like, what? Next thing you know, I'm waiting for the news. They show it and he's up there hugging a power pole. Talking about that. He was walking down the street. Cops tried to pull him over. He got paranoid. Ran up there. Climbed the power pole. And was threatening. I don't know if to hurt himself or if to do something to the cops. But he had a knife up there and he didn't want to come down. It was like a few hours standoff till he came down. And then I don't know what ended up happening after that, but everybody was joking like, oh shit, like he's still scared that if he comes back, that there might be a possibility that, you know what I mean, somebody just says, hey, he gotta go because of what happened with him and homeboy. So like, oh, he was all high, seen the cars, like, oh, I don't want to go back, climbing up, like, I ain't going back type shit. Like, it's just funny, you know what I mean? I appreciate everybody that tapped in to listen to my stories, man. Like I said, I'm getting back in the rhythm, and we gonna start getting it going. I'm gonna keep the timeline going, and we gonna do it like that, man. I owe you guys an apology for not being consistent as I used to be, but we gonna get back to it, man. I guarantee you guys that. I just, like I said, life's been happening, been dealing with a lot of stuff, and if I don't feel 100% like with everything that's going on, I can't even fake the funk and be right here in front of the camera and smile, tell stories and act like everything's feeding me when it's not. You know what I'm saying? I just can't do that. So I just want to give a cheers with you guys, man. 2025, first month, we still here, and I appreciate y'all, man. Shout out my good people at Killer Kush. Shout out my good people at Drip Fits. Salute my good people at Hadar Extracts. And for the top of the line, Bulldogs, American Bullies. Check out my good people at Cali Bullies, man. Salucita.